Howdy everybody, this is Harrison from Coffee House, and I'm here to talk tea, specifically this tea. So this is a mountain-grown Sencha, specifically a Saemidori from Yame, Fukuoka, Japan. I personally have been really excited to try this tea for a long time, not just because of the little bunny, but because this farm is really famous for the tea that it produces. They have been making a name for themselves more and more over the years, and specifically because of their soil content, you know, just overall just incredible quality of tea, which is very common in Yame, Japan. But this farm particularly, Kuma Tea Gardens, is very famous for just very high quality, very sweet teas. Their farmer particularly actually won the National to Japan tea competition in the Gyokuro category in 2017. And he's been making a name for himself much more since then. And this tea is very characteristic of that, which let's dive in a little bit into brewing some of it. So first and foremost, I'm just gonna preheat my vessel. All right. Just getting it up to temp, that way I don't lose any temperature. With brewing tea and coffee specifically, it's very important that you don't lose that temperature. So as I dump this, one thing that I want to bring up too is if you have any interest too in learning more about the farm, Kuma Tea Garden specifically, I'm going to have so much more of this on the website as to all the information, you know, about the farmers, their history, etc. But let's dive into some of this here. So I'm going to be using 3 grams of tea per 100 mils of water. I've found that tends to be, for this tea specifically, and many others, a very good starting point to being able to find what you like for your parameters the best. So because this is a Saemidori, you can kind of get away with a lot of different, brewing techniques. So when I say Saemidori, what I mean is that is a cultivar that is becoming more and more popular in the West. Two very important cultivars that are becoming more and more popular in the West here are Saemidori and Okumidori. And generally, when you think of green tea, one of the cultivars, especially like nice green tea, Yabukita is the cultivar that we normally would think of. When we think of just like your standard, Japanese green tea. But these, rather than more of the seaweed, much more ocean aroma as it tastes, this brings out so much more sweetness, so much more fruitiness, and it is apparent when you make this tea. Even when you open the bag and smell the dry leaves, it's just like straight melon, grapefruit, just tons of different things. Even just like, nectarines, that's it. I was like, it's another like summer fruit. But either way, let's brew it. Let's brew this. So 100 mils of water, and I'm brewing at 145 degrees Fahrenheit, or for those of you who are out of the US, we're brewing it at about I would say about 63 degrees Celsius. Anywhere between 60 and 63 is gonna be really good for your first steep here. But back to what I was about to say earlier, while we're letting this go a little bit, 30 seconds to be exact. I technically find that with this one too, because it's a Saemidori, because the leaves are just so deep, you can actually kind of treat this like a gyokuro. You can do much more cold steeps, much more, you can get that liquor, that is very gelatinous if you do a very short steep time with a higher concentration. But I'm just trying to brew this how I would brew a Sencha, just to see how it goes. Okay, perfect. I'm using a Kyusu to brew this. You can brew it however you would like, personally, but I generally like the flavor that comes out of using a Kyusu. This is a ceramic Kyusu. It's specifically made for Sencha, but just the way that it comes out and the way that the flavor develops inside is just unlike anything else. It's unexplainable. Oh my God, yeah. Melon, nectarine, still a little bit of the salty seaweed, but a little bit of, ocean scents, but mostly fruit. It's very, It's very nice. My heart was beating so fast when I was waiting to open this tea. But oh, anyway, let's taste it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, come on. Come on now. Yeah, just rich umami right up front. And as it comes back, just super delicate, super sweet. Even as I'm breathing in, just talking here, you get so much just like grapefruit, melon, just so many just nice, bright, fruity aspects to this. So anyway, oh God, I'm like speechless over how good this is. But that being said, one thing to notice too is I'm getting some sediment in here, just some of the tea leaves. There's different types of kyusus for everything. So there's gonna be ones that are, much more, designated towards sencha, different sizes of the bowls and different, sizes of, what's straining it. This one would actually fit better for a much more fine strain, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's still good, even with leaves floating in there. They call it grandpa style, so let's be grandpas together. Yeah, that's delicious. Let's dive in for a second steep. Okay. Let's do the second steep here. So for this run, I'm gonna pull it immediately as I hit the 100 mil mark. But I'm actually gonna crank up the temperature here. I'm gonna pull it up to about like 150 degrees Fahrenheit, or like I would say like maybe like 66 degrees Celsius. I just wanna bump the heat up a little bit because I got a lot of extraction out of that first run. This one is gonna be a very quick steep again, like I said. So I want to crank up the temperature a little bit more, see how the flavors change a little bit. The cool thing about tea though, is that you can kind of do whatever you want. It has been around for thousands of years. It's old as dirt, but you can make it yours. You can find what you like. Again, Western style is very different from the way that Japanese style is brewed, or even like Gong Fu in China. There's so many different ways, and no matter how many ways you look at it, everybody's gonna do it a little bit differently. So that's one thing that I find is really cool about tea, is it's very, very personal. Okay, so I'm up the temp. We're gonna do this. Let me not forget my timer, just to see how immediate I can get it. My little lid. All right, let's dive right in. Oh yeah. See, a lot of sediment, but I like it. But this steep, much more green just right off the bat. Much more, it's losing a little bit of that gelatinous kind of texture. It's much more watery, but at the same time, you still got body, you've still got thickness, and you got a whole lot of green. But generally, I find that with a lot of teas, and it does depend, the second steep's generally going to be the sweetest, and that kind of goes for most teas. And always take your time. You don't want to rush this process. Whenever I'm making tea for Luke or Jeff or anybody else on the team, a lot of times they'll be like, okay, and I'll be like, no. You got to get that last drop in. That's the most important part. Because as you can see too, if you've been watching since I've been pouring this, it's just getting more green. That last drop contains so much flavor in it. Okay. That doesn't even look like the same tea, I'm gonna be real. But again, I mean, a much deeper aroma this time around. Still thick with body, but not as gelatinous as that. Whoa. Yeah, okay. A little bit more astringency this time, which I did up the temperature. The leaves have opened up. They've already started extracting, so that's why we want to go immediate with this second run. But still, it leaves so much room for the floral elements, the stone fruit, all these different things. It's just such a fun experience. I wish I could even just speak more on how I'm feeling, but I'm just going through the motions here because it's just so crazy how much it changes per cup, per steep. It's nuts. But anyway, I gotta get back to the tea here. So this is a tea, one of 6 teas that we're gonna be carrying, and I picked this one out because, again, I've been really wanting to try teas from this cultivar for a long time, and I hope you guys really, really like it. You know, but this was the one that I was the most excited to try. We've got lots from other providers that we have already spent some time with and already deeply love, but this is one that I've been really, really thinking on for a long time, and now I super, super duper understand what the hype is behind these farmers. They really, really got it going on. Something that I find very interesting too is, again, notice this green that we got going on here. This is not common with Sencha, especially even Saemidori Sencha. Saemidori, you're definitely gonna find that deep green in there, but this looks like gyokuro. I mean, looks like super, super green, and the umami is so rich, I almost forget that I'm drinking Sencha. And it's not because of its shading. It's actually not been shaded at all. It's because of the soil on the farm. And that's something that Kuma Tea Gardens is very, very, very famous for, is the way they've maintained their soil over the years. It's just said that they can get a lot of gyokuro flavors, a lot of just like super richness in their teas, not because of just the shading, but just because of how it's grown. But I hope you guys enjoy, and we're definitely going to be carrying a lot more of this stuff in the future. We have all really enjoyed it so far. If this is not a gyokuro, I cannot wait to see what that prize-winning gyokuro is going to taste like. But anyway, thank you guys. Okay guys, so this was it. This is the Saemidori Mountain Grown Sencha from Kuma Tea Gardens in Yame, Fukuoka, Japan. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, other tea to discuss, tea to talk, I'm here to answer any of that. You're welcome to hit us up on the website. We want to help. You know, we want to make it. We want to make your time drinking these teas fun, collaborative, and we're here to enjoy it with you. So, thank you guys. Again, I'm Harrison from Coffee House, and I'll see you next time.